of course, meeting for the first time in court today. It was about a 90-minute hearing.
This isn't going to end well for you, Blake. Sorry.
In a world where sometimes people judge you before they give you a chance.
Blake Lively's legal team went into full-blown panic mode when Justin Baldoni defeated her in just 90 minutes, his first significant courtroom victory. Even though it wasn't the final decision, it was a crucial step in deciding how this battle would play out, and Blake's prospects weren't looking good based on how things were going. Here's the breakdown in case you haven't been paying attention. In a stunning $250 million lawsuit, Blake Lively accused Justin Baldoni of grave misconduct. Unwilling to back down, Justin responded with a $400 million countersuit, accusing Blake of defamation and extortion. The case has now finally reached the courtroom following months of contentious discussions, paving the way for one of Hollywood's most tumultuous legal battles in recent history. Brian Fredman, Justin's attorney, was aggressive from the start of the session, making it obvious he was looking for a fight. Blake's legal team was clearly shaken by his combative style, and who could blame them? By his actions in court, it appeared that this was the same man who had publicly vowed to sue Blake into oblivion and judge. Blake's lawyers were so shaken that they tried to stifle him with a gag order in an attempt to prevent him from making any more controversial public remarks. But the judge would not have it that way. He quickly rejected their request, noting that Blake's own attorneys had been equally outspoken in the press. The judge wasn't going to play favorites, and it would have been utterly unfair to silence Fredman while letting Blake's team speak freely. Although Justin's team had won the first game of the day thanks to that decision, Blake's frustration was about to worsen. Once again, the judge wasn't buying it. He dismissed their complaints outright, reaffirming that Fredman had every right to discuss the case publicly. Blake's lawyers continued to claim that Fredman's frequent interviews and media presence were making it impossible for them to effectively respond every time they were ready to rebut. He was already dropping another revelation, leaving them rushing to keep up. Blake suffered yet another devastating blow, but when her legal team discovered that Justin Baldoni was not only waging this battle in court, but also online, the real mayhem broke out. When Blake's attorneys learned that Justin had created a website specifically for the case and intended to post supporting documentation, such as messages, legal documents, and video footage, they became enraged. Before the trial even started, they claimed that this action was completely inappropriate and might unfairly influence public opinion. Fredman was not going to allow them to change the rules to suit their interests, so he reminded the court in a forceful manner that Blake was the one who brought her allegations to the attention of the media. She went straight to the New York Times, giving Justin just 12 hours to reply before they released their damning report on him. Justin hardly had time to defend himself before the article went live, permanently harming his reputation if Blake was permitted to use the media to control the story. Why shouldn't Justin be permitted to follow suit? The judge accepted that argument with force and again ruled in Justin's favor, but in a final attempt to maintain some control, he delivered the day's greatest blow. The judge was not interested in complying with Blake's lawyer's request that she be given the freedom to select the person who would question her during her deposition, obviously in an attempt to avoid having to face Fredman directly. Without hesitation, he decided that Blake could not choose her own interrogator and that, whether she liked it or not, she would have to answer questions from whoever the court assigned. It was evident that Justin's side had made great progress by the end of the hearing. Instead of slowing Fredman down, Blake's legal team had failed in every attempt to control him. The battle was far from over, but if this first round was any indication, they had only given him more chances to support his position. Blake Lively's legal team was in for a long battle after that decision, and they couldn't hide their frustration because they knew exactly what it meant. Fredman was pursuing her, and they had no way to stop him. Blake should be terrified because Brian Fredman is unyielding and won't allow her to sidestep any questions for those who aren't familiar with the legal system. Since a deposition is sworn testimony, Blake's words could be used against her in court. No well-crafted public relations statements are included, no deflections were authorized by attorneys. It's obvious she isn't ready, not even close. After just straightforward interrogation under oath and the frantic efforts of her legal team to prevent her from confronting Fredman, that begs the crucial question: why is Blake Lively so anxious to avoid a deposition if she is so certain of her claims? Wouldn't she want to go on record and let the facts do the talking if she was being honest? Instead, by making excuse after excuse, she and her attorneys are doing everything in their power to keep Fredman away from her. They are aware that once she enters that room, there will only be the hard facts, no more spin, no more strategic leaks, no more distractions. However, the judge wasn't duped and turned down their request, dealing Blake yet another devastating blow by the end of the hearing. The result was clear. Justin and his group had prevailed in each and every debate. As Blake's legal team lost case after case, he won one after another. Just when they thought things couldn't get any worse, the judge confirmed that the two lawsuits, Blake's $250 million claim and Justin's $400 million countersuit, were being combined into one. That implies that this will be one huge, explosive courtroom rather than a protracted legal battle. Unless they come to an agreement before then, showdown and the trial are officially set for March 2026. But let's face it, Blake is in big trouble. She has already lost a number of significant court battles before the case has even started if this goes to trial. She might find herself in a courtroom where all of the evidence Justin has gathered is exposed if this continues. This is about the court of public opinion as well as the legal battle, and at this moment, her once fans are split. Some are still devoted, while others are starting to doubt her intentions as her impeccable reputation starts to fall apart. In the meantime, Justin is carefully intricating the tale. The fact that he started a website devoted to the case, collected all of the receipts, and made sure he had all the evidence he needed to turn the tables on her says it all. In addition to defending himself in court, he is making sure that everyone on the planet hears his side of the story. It's an excellent tactic. After being taken down by Blake through the media, he is now retaliating online. Blake must now confront herself with a difficult decision. Should she apologize and end the conflict before she utterly destroys herself, or is it worth fighting on? Because she will be liable for $400 million if she loses, which brings us to Reynolds. Rather than simply leaving with a tarnished reputation, what role does he play in this? Blake's defeat will be detrimental to both of them, not just their reputation. Their combined net worth is less than that $400 million amount. They might be devastated financially if this case doesn't turn out well for her. Now that it appears more and more likely that Justin Baldoni will win in court and in the public eye, perhaps Blake should swallow her pride, find a way to make amends, and stop before she is totally destroyed in court. The repercussions of Blake losing this case will be disastrous. In addition to being a financial setback, a $400 million payout has the potential to completely ruin her career. Not only does that type of money hurt, but it ruins. Even with Reynolds' wealth, a loss of this size would permanently damage their reputation in the public eye, as well as their financial accounts. Hollywood may overlook scandals, but it doesn't overlook financial catastrophes. This type of assessment might prevent her from re-entering the industry, but it's not just about the money. She will lose not just a huge amount of money, but also her reputation, her influence, and her chance to ever be taken seriously in the industry. Hollywood loves drama, but it also values authority, and at the moment, Justin is gaining that authority. Blake is struggling to keep up with him as he enters the scene with evidence, prevails in court, and controls the narrative. She could end up being the cautionary tale of an A-lister who played the game too aggressively and lost everything if she keeps going in this direction. Her career wouldn't be the only thing affected by a courtroom defeat either. In Hollywood, reputation is crucial and is almost impossible to restore once it's lost. She won't be sought after by studios. Although a redemption arc is always a possibility, this isn't just some PR sham that she can make light of in an interview years later. Brands will discreetly distance themselves from producers and directors. Even people who once admired her will reconsider enlisting her in a project out of concern for needless controversy. She may suffer a permanent stain in addition to a career setback if she is found guilty of extortion and defamation. Justin, meanwhile, is making progress with each court decision in his favor. He is methodically dismantling Blake's claims one by one and positioning himself as the party who was unfairly attacked. He is demonstrating that he is not just fighting back, but also taking control, and Hollywood loves a winner. Blake finds it more difficult to turn the story around, and this legal battle is far from over. There will likely be more public outbursts, more unexpected twists, and more courtroom drama as both sides continue to fight it out. If she can't regain control, or at least lessen the harm, this makes Blake's situation appear worse. Stay tuned because this is just the beginning. The tea is still brewing, and you never know how messy things will get. This could end up being one of the biggest Hollywood collapses in recent memory.